Hello, folks. I'm OdinSpack, and I'm so incredibly nervous for some reason right now. Welcome on in to the first YouTube stream, not counting that one that was in Canada a couple weeks ago on my phone, which is kind of crazy to think it was a couple weeks ago now. But that was the debut of my new stuff, my new uh, my new art assets, my new logo. The music, though, that might not be sticking around. Mostly because the intro one I used was made a long time ago, back when I was OdinSpack33 by my friend Draskin5665. Um, I used a different version of that for like some videos back in the day, and I needed something for today because I just didn't want to like play some other random songs. I was like, I need some sort of intro um, for that. So, shouts to him. Didn't even ask him. Sorry, my bad. But it was made for me, so I assume I had permission. We'll assume that. Big shouts to Pixel Plume for making the Adventures of not Rad Gravity, the Adventures of OdinSpack, sorry, logo. I want to give a shout out to him for that and for the background that you're seeing. Not this frame here. I did some of the stuff that doesn't look probably as good. You could tell it was me. It was me that did that. Um, but I was really excited to show off what I'd been working on, getting all this set up, ready to go. So that's the new starting soon screen for the stream. I was gonna do that as like a trailer, but it would have been like 10 seconds long, so I don't know if that would have been appropriate. I think it was good to debut it like this here. I think that was a good way to do that. I also don't know if I'm gonna have this. I don't know if I'm gonna be trapped in this box in the future. I might do like, if I get a green screen in the future, I might full screen this and have like some sort of like space station kind of, like Star Trek, like on the ship. Um, I might do something like that in the future. But right now, this is kind of me. I'm like, you're watching from like Earth right now, and this is my space station in the living room. The animations are fun. I did animate the stars. And I also did animate that little shooting star there too. So I made that. So that was fun. It was. I hope it looked nice. I mean, I think I overthink things. Like there's other things I want to do. This is gonna be constantly changing throughout. So like this humble beginnings again, even though it's almost 15 years since I've been doing content, almost. Humble beginnings again. This is honestly like this is like phase one again. You know what I mean? This is OdinSpack 2.0 or 3.0 or something like that. But I'm really excited. I also am messing around with various things because there's a whole bunch of different things you can do with YouTube streaming. So I have the latency for the stream turned up like to normal, which is like it's pretty. I think it's like a pretty far delay. Like I want to say it might be like 20 or 30 seconds possibly delay. But I did that so that if maybe you can't watch with audio, you should be able to click like the YouTube captions, and this should hopefully work. So if you can't watch with audio, then ideally I'd like, because that always frustrates me. Like when I'm watching a stream on the go and I don't want to bother somebody. I don't got headphones on or something like that, and I'd like you to be able to hear what I'm saying. So that's like a really cool feature that I'm sure was probably on Twitch, but like it was like probably like some third party support, whereas this is just like integrated into it. So like I'm playing around with that. I'm streaming at 1080 right now, and I'm pretty sure you can bump that to whatever you need it to be. I don't know if I've dropped any frames whatsoever. So hopefully that stays that way. But I wanted to have it the highest quality possible, and so that way, like if you can't watch it this quality, then you should be able to set it to other stuff that works for you. But if you can, crank that up. See all my pores in glorious 1080p. So I'm just messing around with some of the features like that, trying to figure out how all this stuff works because I really don't know. Still fiddling around with things. So this is really a practice slash test stream, but hey, I get to show off my new stuff. We're not playing my new game today. I've mentioned that several times. I don't want to disappoint anybody. I've been hopefully I've communicated enough through various videos and tweets or whatever they're called now, and all that kind of stuff, that like this is not, we're not going to be playing a video game today. We're just going to be talking about the future of the channel, showing off this stuff, what lies in store for my content, and kind of reintroducing you to OdinSpack, to me, trying to get who I am. Maybe you guys can ask me a couple questions as we go along here, and I'll try to answer them. Maybe more in line with my plans for this, and then we can goof off and talk for a little bit. But I'm not planning for this stream to be terribly long, just because I want to just kind of make sure everything works properly. So I'm just that's what I'm really trying to get at. I want to say hi to everybody. We got Stardev94 likes the new starting soon screen. I spent a lot of time on it. So thank you so much. We got King Kienzen with that yo in there. Welcome on in. We got Turn of the Drew with the shocked face. Thank you so much for being here. We got Slim Kirby, the humblest of beginnings. I'm glad you guys like the animations, and yeah, we're going for a very space theme. That's what I've always gone for. You can see my old logo. I'm gonna be changing all that after the stream. Pixels made me like a new YouTube banner, one for Twitter. So I'm gonna be changing all that stuff too. But yeah, so you can see, like, I was clearly going for like the Rad Gravity inspired look. Nobody else on the internet's doing that, obviously. But I was going for that aesthetic. That's why it's the Adventures of OdinSpack, and I'll get into that in a second too. But yeah, so I'm going for that kind of aesthetic for this. I want it to try and be like, hey, these are going to be the new adventure. Not, I guess I didn't call it the new adventures, but actually that would have been good. But whatever, it's too late now. I'm committed. But I'm constantly going to be evolving this. I'm going to be changing things as we go. I'm going to be theming stuff, like maybe whatever I'm playing. But I want it to always be like a fresh experience. I want you to have a good time here. If you've never been to my Twitch streams before, and this is your first time here, everyone in the chat I've seen has definitely been at my Twitch streams before, but maybe if you're lurking, or maybe you're watching this in the future, and if you don't know how they work, this is just a comfy environment I like to be in. We just have a good time. We play video games. I'm mostly focused on new stuff that I've never played before. That's the core content of this channel. But I have a lot of other stuff that I have planned. I have a ton of stuff planned, but I'm only focusing on one thing right now, because right now, personally, just to give you guys a little behind the scenes, I am currently still looking for work. This is not my job. I'm looking for work because I just recently moved to the United States a year ago. Hey, recent in a year ago, you know what I mean? Most of that time was spent in Canada, so a year is really not that long. But I was just able to recently start working here, which is why kind of the changes. We'll talk about some monetization stuff on this channel too. I'll talk about that a little bit. But I'm focused on getting a job, and then that way, when I know what my schedule is for said job, hopefully it's more linear than like all over the place. If it is that way, so be it. But I want to be able to be upfront with you guys about what's going to be coming up. So I'm going to be focusing on one thing on my channel right now. And then when I start working and I know what my hours are and what time I will have to dedicate to this, then I'll get to start to roll out all that other stuff. I have lots of ideas. I talk about that a lot on YouTube. I've made videos like, oh, I have all this stuff I want to do, and I never deliver on it. But I'm at that point where I'm like, I want to do this stuff now. This is the time of my life where I'm like, I'm ready to start like delivering on all the things I've been saying. But I have to focus on the personal stuff too. And I have to kind of focus on it first. So that's why I need to get a job first. It's been like my number one for the past couple of months now. So I'm going to hear something about an opportunity tomorrow. So like, fingers crossed that it is what I'm looking for. I it should be. I don't want to get into it too much, but I should have something tomorrow if everything pans out, and you won't have to hear too much about this. But so anyway, that's a little behind the scenes on what's going on. So this is the stream. This is the OdinSpack stream. I don't have too many scenes set up right now. As you guys know, if you don't know, my first planned game to stream on here is going to be Kirby and the Forgotten Land. It came out last year, May, I think, May 2022, or April. It was April or May, maybe even March, but it was in the spring. And I have been waiting a long time to play this game. And, like, it's just like, I can't wait to play it. I don't know anything about it. I love Kirby, and the fact that it's taken me kind of this long to get to it is kind of weird. But I kind of had a plan that, around when that game came out is kind of when I started thinking about this whole YouTube thing, and I've been holding off on it. And it's taken that long to get to this. You know what I mean? Like, that's how long I've kind of been thinking about this. Is almost since like Forgotten Land almost came out. So, it's been a long time. Long time coming. But yeah, that's gonna be my very first playthrough on here. It's gonna be Kirby and the Forgotten Land. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. I cannot wait to do that. Maybe I'll show up. Maybe we'll get a sneak peek. The layout's not anything flashy. I do also want to make some alerts. There's no alerts right now. But I think the alerts are going to be more so towards monetized things than otherwise, because like following on here, it's just different than Twitch, I think. Because like somebody could be following because they're just watching a video of mine as opposed to being at the stream. So I don't know if I'll like do that, but I do have some alert ideas in mind, which is kind of gonna reflect how my layout looks. It's nothing. If you've been to my Twitch channel before, it's nothing like drastically different from what I've done on that. I was unsure if I was gonna put my webcam over here, for the for this this new set, this new layout. But I decided to pretty much go with what I was doing before. So it'll, if you watch me on Twitch, it'll definitely look familiar, and if not, well then it'll be new for you. But there is one other art asset you guys haven't seen that I kind of made spur of the moment, and I'm pretty proud of it, honestly. And the idea is I'm gonna make more of these depending on what game I'm playing too. So it could be pretty fun. I'm going very much for the 8-bit aesthetic. I want to thank Bulby. If you haven't heard of Bulby before, they do various remixes on YouTube. There's a link to their channel in the description. I should probably put one at Draskin too. Did my intro music unknowingly that he made for me years ago, but there's a link to Bulby and to Pixel in the description too. But Bulby makes lots of like 8-bit versions of like more modern songs, and sometimes if they're already 8-bit, it'll be like a 16-bit version instead. So I'm really going for the 8-bit aesthetic for this. So I'm gonna try and stick to, like, when I'm doing like the starting soon music and whatnot, I'm gonna try and pick thematically correct stuff that relates to where I'm playing. So I'm gonna be playing Kirby. I know I just played some Mario stuff, but we're not playing Kirby today. But I thought those songs that I picked, I thought were just a little fitting for the kind of the look I was going for. But I'm gonna try to pick music that's kind of thematic. That's just for starting soon, and be right back. But like I said, I'm always trying to change things up and make it kind of like fresh and like, hey, you want to be here, you want to see how it is. So all right, so what's happening? Also, we have Buddy Bro in here. Welcome on in. Yeah, it's new OdinSpack. What if I just named myself that? OdinSpack Classic. No. No, it is OdinSpack. Welcome on in. Hope you're having a great day. So let's talk about what's going to be happening. Let's talk about the thing that you will be seeing, which is the Adventures of OdinSpack. That's what you'll be seeing, which is going to be me playing Kirby in the Forgotten Land. So I'm going to have some various streaming shows, and I'm going to have some various recorded projects, because this is YouTube, so I can very much just also still make videos. I know that's crazy talk. But that's something I can also do too. That's part of the like on hold until I'm working thing. Everything is gonna be focused right now on the Adventures of OdinSpack, but I have lots of other things that I want to do that will work out perfectly. But once I have the time for it. But yes, the Adventures of OdinSpack is like it's my main show. So everything's being broken up into like shows because I love the idea of that. I think that's a neat idea for making content is to like thematically break down your content into different IPs, I guess. And that way people know going into it what to expect too. I think that's a good idea. It's not that I've never done this before, but now I'm sharing with you my plan because I want to be very upfront and just open and honest with everything I'm doing. Because this is a big step for me. Really trying with a lot of this stuff with a game plan. A lot of times I'm just kind of like, hey, what do I want to do? And I kind of just, just do what I'm feeling. And that's fine. But I want to be a lot more scheduled, streamlined, and like, I'm still going to, like when I stream, it's going to be very, laid back and casual like I usually do. But I want a plan for what I'm doing, and I want to share all that with you because I want you guys to be very engaged with what I'm doing. Because as much as I want to make this content just to have a good time, I want you guys to also enjoy it. So if you're a part of that, then you might enjoy the content more. So that's my goal. So custom alerts could be fun. I don't know. I really want to do them. Like I said, I have some good ideas for them not to be too like in your face, like appearing over things, like very professional. So I have some ideas, for sure. Like I said, we're gonna be keeping this. It's gonna be very like space station or like spaceship esque. It's kind of what I'm going for. This probably isn't the greatest example of that. This is kind of like those like screens that they have on like Star Trek, when they're like on screen, and like that's kind of what this is right now. But I don't have like a ship background here right now. It wouldn't make any sense. But that's kind of the vibe I want to go with. Not going for Star Trek necessarily, but I think Star Trek's like a good, like if you've seen it, then you know what I'm talking about. Like I think that's just one of the better examples of like sci-fi kind of done that in a way that makes sense. So yeah, it's like OdinSpack, but it's an anime. Yes, exactly. The OdinSpack anime. Yeah, exactly. So you'll have your spin-offs, and your special occasions. We got all that stuff. So the Adventures of OdinSpack. What's the Adventures of OdinSpack? So this is a show where I'm gonna play mostly modern releases for the first time. So this show is about playing stuff for the first time, a first playthrough. Formerly known as blind playthroughs. People kind of say first playthroughs now. But that's what the Adventures of OdinSpack is. It might not necessarily always be the most modern game. Heck, I could play something really old if I feel it is a fit for the Adventures of OdinSpack. If I'm like, this is something that's like main content that I want you to see. I mean, obviously I want you to see everything, but like if I feel like there's something that's older that like demands being like the front stage, then I'll do that. But this is mostly focused on like modern releases. It's gonna be a lot of Nintendo Switch, especially early on, because that's kind of what I have set up in here right now. Once we move and have a new place and kind of have more of a streaming setup laid out, some PS4 might make its way in there. Could also do some PC stuff too. My PC is not the worst. So I could do some PC stuff as well. But these games are going to be handpicked by me. I'm going to be choosing what appears on the Adventures of OdinSpack. I know I literally just told you, like, I want you to be part of the decision-making process. And I'm sure you guys might have an influence in just telling me stuff that you might be interested in. And I might think to do that. But I want you to, like, be excited for what the next playthrough is going to be. And so this one isn't going to be like a community decided one. This is going to be something that's like, hey, this is something that I've been wanting to play. I've never done it before. And here it is. Here's the Adventures of OdinSpack. So I'm going to reveal the next one to you at the end of a stream playthrough. And then this goes for any of these projects. If I'm not enjoying a game, I might just drop it and move on to the next one. And that's just how it goes. I'm gonna try my best to give it a shot for sure. But if there's just something I'm not feeling, I'm not just gonna keep playing it, and then you guys aren't having a good time. Because when you watch a stream, if you see the streamer not having a good time, there's a good chance that you might not be having a good time either. I mean, some people might think the opposite, I guess, but there's a difference between like not enjoying something and like getting angry at something because it's intended to be hard. You know what I mean? Like it's a little different, right? So if it doesn't feel enjoyable, then I'm just gonna move on. As I've said, Kirby in the Forgotten Land is gonna be the first one of these projects. I might start that this week. That could start either Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. I'm thinking if it does happen, it's Tuesday. I'll be using the community tab frequently to communicate with you guys, and also Discord, which I don't think I have a link to in the description. I'll make sure I add that, and for future streams, so you guys can keep up with the stuff on the Discord as well. But I'll try to do like the same, whatever posts I do in Discord or on the community tab on YouTube. I'll make sure I do on both. I'm trying to keep to that stuff more so. Other social media right now, especially like, the big one, is kind of like, I kind of want to just try and keep everything in a community kind of aspect that is, if you're here for my content, then you'll be in one of those two places, if not both. So I'm going to be trying to communicate more so for this stuff through YouTube, through the community tab. And if I feel appropriate, like for it to be posted in Discord, then I'll do that as well. I might just like link stuff in Discord, like to the post too. Might do that. So that's how I'm gonna be communicating with you guys. So Kirby and Forgotten Land, that's gonna be what I'm playing. Like I said, I would like to start that this week. I wasn't sure if I was gonna wait till next week. It really depends on if tomorrow I hear like, hey, there's this job we're offering you now, and we need you for the next few days for training or something. Then I'd be like, okay, well, it's gonna have to wait till next weekend, right? But right now, I'm kind of aiming, like, my availability for the evening times is kind of like Sunday through Wednesday currently. So I'm playing around with it, trying to figure out what works. So other stuff you could expect to see here, Mario Wonder's coming out in October. Probably will do that. I could just play that on my own, I guess, but I would like to stream that. That would be a good callback, especially considering when Mario Wii came out. That was the first ever first playthrough I did, or Let's Play I did on the channel. So that'd be kind of fun to a new 2D Mario game. I love 2D Mario, so that's something that could happen in the future. I also have some homework from Twitch to take care of on here, which is Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. I was gonna finish that up on Twitch, but like I just finished Vesperia like last week, and I'm like, man, it's gonna be like September, October before I get around to this if I do that. So we're gonna probably do that, if not like in the Adventures of OdinSpack, in this next thing I'm about to talk about. So anyway, that's the Adventures of OdinSpack. That's gonna be the main thing on here. That's what you're gonna be seeing. Like, that's all you're going to be seeing on here for the next little bit until, that's the only thing you're going to be seeing on here until, like, I get a job and then until we move, basically. Or until I'm, like, sure that I have a good stream schedule to give you guys where I feel comfortable in, like, adding this other stuff. I kind of want to let the Adventures of OdinSpack roll for a bit before I really, get in over my head. I don't want to do that. I want to be able to deliver on maybe just one thing right now, because I do have a lot of ideas. But I want to deliver on this one thing right now, and this is the Adventures of OdinSpack is like the most important thing to me right now. So that's what I want to do. But for the future, because I want to tell you guys what to be excited for. I'm excited. Also, I don't have logos for anything else either. I have a logo for the Adventures of OdinSpack. I'd like to commission some of this stuff, possibly by some other artists, just so I get a different vibe for some of the logos too. Not that Pixel doesn't do a great job. Love you, Pixel. But it could be cool to kind of have different takes on some of this other stuff just so that it stands out from each other. You know, it doesn't look similar. I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I might make it myself. Who knows? I have no idea. I do have an old logo for this next thing coming up. It's a thing I've done before. I've used this logo on YouTube. I've used it on Twitch, and I've used this show name. And I think it's a perfect show name, honestly. So I'm bringing back Retro Spack. And so when I brought Retro Spack onto Twitch, it was basically the Adventures of OdinSpack, where I kind of played stuff for the first time. Retro Spack is going to be focused on old games. And when I say old games, I kind of think games that came out before I started doing Let's Plays. That's kind of retro for me. So pretty much like GameCube and earlier. Technically, there's some like Wii stuff in there, but like GameCube, PS2, Xbox, that's kind of like retro for me. I mean, I know you could say Wii and Wii U and all that kind of stuff. I think this discussion got brought up in it. Was it Snack stream or someone was streaming? I think it might have been Snack. I heard this was brought up, or maybe it was in the chat. Who knows? But anyway, that's kind of the vibe that I have for Retrospec. I do have an old logo that Bubba made for me back in the day. So I could just use that one again. Probably ask him if it's fine. I don't see why he'd have an issue. But I mean, like, I could just use it anyway. He did make it for me, but probably would still ask anyway. But yeah, so that's going to be a show where I focus on old games. And it's definitely going to have games I've played before in there, because I might just want to do a playthrough of a, maybe a game I've done a Let's Play before, maybe I want to do a project on that. But it'll definitely have some new stuff, kind of the backlog clear. I've kind of had that as a name of a series before. Year to clear, if you've heard me throw that term around before. That's kind of what Retrospec's going to be, is kind of chipping away at that backloggery. So, this could it could have newer stuff than what I'm saying, but that's the intention for Retrospec, is to be older stuff. Just as much as the intention for Adventures of OdinSpack to be newer stuff, Retrospec's kind of the older stuff. But they just kind of have two different things, whereas the Adventures of OdinSpack is always going to be something I've never played before, and it's going to be like this main featured thing. Retrospec is going to be something older, something that might be kind of a side series. It might only take a few streams to do, maybe 1 or 2, maybe 3, who knows. It could be RPG, which could be really long too. It could be an old RPG, which could take some streams as well. But that's what Retrospec is going to be. And I want to be able to chip away at the at the backlog. So I kind of have two ways Retrospec's going to work. It's one where it's like I'm just going to choose what, like, I'm going to have one option where I'm going to like choose like a game that I've played before, and I'll just play that as part of Retrospec. But the other one that it's going to get you guys involved is I'm going to be doing YouTube community posts when this comes out, when I start doing Retrospec, and you'll get some options from some of the backloggery, not been beaten before games that I have. It could be stuff I have played but never finished. Could be stuff I've never played before. And basically, you guys will get to vote on what game you'll want me to play from the available options. So that will be a YouTube community post exclusively on that, so that the voting's just easier to track than like, doing that and like Discord or something like that. And then similar to, I could say this for any of them, but similar to Adventures of OdinSpack, if I'm not enjoying something, I'm just gonna, I'm gonna drop it and move on. This is kind of the vibe I'm taking. I don't want something to not be fun. So that's what I'm going with. All right. So captions being kind of weird. I know that was a while ago you said that, but I'm kind of looking at the chat right now. Wow, the only good day one Let's Play was New Super Mario Bros. Wii. Well, thank you, Slim. I appreciate that. So far, everything sounds good. Take things one at a time. Absolutely. That's what I mean. Like, I have lots of stuff I want to do, but I got to take it one step at a time and make sure I'm comfortable before I go adding, more work. So I think that's a good thing just to know in general. That's a good one. What was a good one? The name of the show? Year to Clear? Not doing year to clear. That's not gonna be a show. That's what Retrospec is. But I kind of want to theme stuff around my name, and just so that people kind of understand what stuff is. So that's my two main game playing shows of streaming that I'm going to be doing. But like I said, the Adventures of OdinSpack is going to be the only one right now. So one thing I've talked about for a while that I've always wanted to do. I've done one in the past with a couple of my friends. And that is I want to do a podcast, which will be on here. It's not all the content's going to be on YouTube, guys. So for that I might when it's done, I might upload it to audio sites or whatever, depending on how easy that is. I have no idea, but I want to do a podcast, and that's going to be Spack Talk, which is a podcast I'm pretty sure I have done before, but it's going to be called Spack Talk because I think it's a perfect name. Honestly, I think it might be one of the better names I have for a thing. So yeah, we got Spack Talk. Be about an hour-long podcast, and we're gonna talk about video games because I love talking about video games. It's gonna be a discussion on news. Might talk about some classic games, maybe what I'm playing, answer some questions, maybe have some guests on. But this is something that I've been wanting to do for a long time, and I want to make it happen. I want to make it a weekly podcast. So this will definitely depend on figuring out my work schedule and making sure I have the time for it. An hour's not too bad to do every week. This would be one of the earlier things I would probably work into my new content. But I would need to make sure that I kind of have a day that I know, or a day and a time that I know I'm going to be available for. And then that will, hopefully a good time so that I can get people on the show, not sometime in the middle of the night where only 3 people are available or something. So I definitely want to do a podcast. So Spack Talk will be coming at some point. And I'll try to have guests a lot, honestly. Sometimes I'll run the one-man show, and that'll probably be how it'll go for. I mean, it might go for a lot of it that way, but if it catches on, people enjoy it. They want to be a part of it, then absolutely. So the Bubba logo was good. Yeah, I really do like it. So I might need it remastered, for 2023. And then something I have potentially. This is kind of in the works still, but I might potentially have a chill hour after the podcast. And that'll be a time where we can just relax, after, I'm kind of hoping the podcast is kind of at the end of a week for me. That's kind of the idea. I made a lot of this stuff with the intention of a weekly schedule, because a lot of this was made before I was able to work. That's how long I've been working on this. Months has been working on this. This did not come today. I've been working on this for a long time. A lot of this was typed up before I was able to work. So I had this whole idea for this weekly schedule. But yeah, I want to do kind of a wine and dine. I want to have a chill hour where we wind down and just play some games, maybe some randomizers. I don't think I was about to say I've never done a randomizer on this channel before, not realizing that the biggest randomizer I've ever done, the Ubens randomizer, was absolutely on this channel. So, I had to correct myself there for a second. But, I haven't done some of the other stuff like Link to the Past randomizer, Faxanadu randomizer. So those have been some pretty big things that I've really done over the past couple of years on Twitch, not on here. Mario 3 rando. So maybe some multiplayer stuff, it's like Mario Kart 8, stuff like that. Just something to chill with you guys, just kind of talk. Because I'm going to have the podcast where it's going to kind of be more structured and more laid out in if you ask me questions, I'll be answering that's going to be professional. But the time after that, when we get to the chill hour, then that's the time where it's going to be like this, where we're just going to, shoot the breeze, as they say, so we're just going to have a good time. So that is all of the main stuff I want to do streaming wise. That's what I want to do. That's what that boils down to. I have some special events that I want to do that I'm going to briefly talk about streaming wise. And then I'm going to talk about what I want to do recording wise in the future. And that's pretty much going to be it. I'm going to talk a little bit about monetization too. So, like I said, I want to be upfront with you guys. I want to be honest. You know, I probably could have made this like a nice, like 10-minute, uh, like a nice little 10-minute update video, but I really want to give you guys the impression of what to expect moving forward. So I appreciate you being here, for sure. If you never watched me on Twitch before, something that I used to do a long time ago, and I occasionally run one of these once in a while. It's called Name That Game Tune. So it's a trivia contest where you guess video game songs. And if I ran this on here, I would be running it in a shorter format known as the turbo format. Something I made all this stuff. So if you've watched it before, then you know what I'm talking about. But I'm gonna be mostly running this in the turbo format where it kind of goes fast. The only thing I'm unsure about is like I don't know, like playing songs on here versus Twitch. So that's the only thing that I'm a little nervous about doing for Name That Game Tune. This would probably be a thing where it would absolutely not be monetized, which is good that I can kind of choose to do that, right? That I can kind of disable that stuff for certain streams and whatnot. So that way they can't, get on my case for doing it or something like that. But I would absolutely need to kind of play around with this to make sure. But I would like to do a Name That Game Tune again. And I would like to do it like once a month at like the most, or maybe like once every other month, so like 6 a year or 12 a year, Name That Game Tune. I think that would work well for me. It's something I could absolutely do. Especially if it's like only going to be half the length that I normally do. And who knows? I might put together 2 games anyway at a time and just run them both, so that if you miss the first one, then like the second one will come up right after. I don't know. What I'm exactly going to be doing. Name That Game Tune, but it is something that I do not want to discontinue. So I will figure that out. So if you like trivia, then that is something to look forward to. I have some other trivia stuff in the works, but I don't currently have anything planned right now for that. So I'm not going to go into that because I have nothing finished. But Name That Game Tune, definitely something I want to do. So, other streaming special events coming up in August 23rd, so less than a month away. It's going to be my 15 years on YouTube, which I realize I haven't really done a lot on YouTube over 15 years, but the first few years I definitely put in a lot. But, I kind of take it as my content creation anniversary, even though I was kind of mostly on Twitch for probably more of it than I was YouTube, maybe about half and half. It's not like I kind of stopped doing stuff, but anyway, it's still a milestone. 15 years is a big deal, I think. People like, multiples of 5. So I want to do something special for August 23rd as a stream. I think it's like a Tuesday, which is kind of a weird day, but I think that could be something that we could do, on that day. I could just play Rad Gravity again. I did that last year. I did a Let's Replay. I recorded it on Twitch. I showed the behind the scenes of how I made a Let's Play, and then I uploaded that to YouTube. So I could just play Rad Gravity again. If you guys don't know, big Rad Gravity fan. So if you haven't heard of it, well, it's understandable. But there's some other options I could definitely do as well. So I don't have anything to share with you because I don't know what I want to do exactly, but I do want it to be something special, something that feels on brand for my content. So that's what I want to do. And then lastly, I was toying around this for a little bit. I was like, do I want to do this? This could be something fun. It's actually talking about this is actually gonna go great into talking about the recorded content next. But the last thing I do want to do, and again, this is something where I'm going to need to make sure I have time for this. And this will be something easy that I can do, but I need to make sure that I'm available for it. and I need to do a little bit of editing with it too, so that it flows well. But the last streaming thing I want to talk about, it's not quite a stream as much as it's going to be a YouTube premiere, which I've never done before. But YouTube premieres are like basically a video that you guys watch together. And I'm going to be there too, because that's kind of the point. Like, what's the point of doing a premiere if the person who made the content isn't there to engage with the audience? I think that's kind of the point of doing that. So this is going to be a YouTube premiere. It's going to be called, tentatively, I'll probably be called this, OdinSpack33 Classic. And what it's going to be a recast of old Let's Plays I've done. I think I worked it out. If I do all of the ones that I want to, not all the ones I want to do, but if I did like all of the ones I think would fit in this time frame, this would probably take about a year to do if it was once a week, which is kind of a lot if I did it 3 hours a day. I don't know if I'm going to do like all of those projects though, because I think that's kind of a lot. But there's definitely some series that I would like to, relive. Maybe you never saw it before because, 2008 was a long time ago. And I mean, like, it's not just 2008 content. Like, it definitely goes, like, up into, like, 2015 or 2016. If I were to go through with this and do all that, that's what I'm talking about, as long as it would take, like, for, like, 50 weeks or whatever. So this could be something cool to do, watch back with you, cringe at the outdated commentary. Who knows if I'm saying anything that's offensive these days, possibly. Who knows? Because I probably won't edit it. You know what I mean? Like, cause then I have to watch through it twice. Watch through it to edit it, and then watch through with you guys. So I probably, will. It'd be kind of more fun to watch it in the dark with you guys, kind of reliving some of that stuff. So I don't know exactly how many of these projects I would rebroadcast this way. Definitely the early ones, though. With the exception of the Oracle games, I know those are like 2 big projects for my channel, but they're both pretty long. And the second one has like tons of other people in it, and I just don't really feel comfortable just airing all of that again. With that in mind, I mean, you can go and watch it, now if you want to. So I probably wouldn't. I know that sounds crazy to not do that, but I think if I didn't re-air those, that would allow me to kind of, revive those projects too. The Oracle games just came out on the Switch, so, on the NSO. So, who knows? Maybe something with that in the future. So, I want to do that. You like the format of the last Name That Game tune I did? It was a good length. Well, that's kind of what I'll be going at for sure. Yeah, randomizer? Yeah. OdinSpack randomizer? All right. So that's all the streaming stuff. I know I just laid like a lot down right there. That's why, like the special events, those are kind of like one-offs. They don't happen too often. The other stuff I talked about, I'm only doing the Adventures of OdinSpack right now until I can start integrating the other stuff. I don't want to overwhelm myself. But, if this kind of becomes a thing where, I kind of get the ball rolling and, it's going good for me, then I would definitely feel better about adding more options on. And I just, like I said, I want to be upfront because I have a lot of ambitions on what I want to do with this stuff. And if it doesn't pan out, then, oh well, then, but at least I'm saying all my ideas now. I'm getting all my ideas out there. Is it good to talk about all that in advance? Maybe not, but I'm not exactly, reinventing the wheel here, so. But let's talk about some of my recorded content that I want to start doing. So I don't want to spend too long on this because this isn't going to be for a bit. But I want to do Let's Plays again. And moving forward, all Let's Plays are going to have the OdinSpack33 introduction. By popular demand, mostly Griff's server, his Discord server, has lots of old fans of the OdinSpack33 name. I never wanted 33 on my username. My name was somehow taken when I made my username, so I added 33 onto it. Um, so I was like, heck, why not? We'll bring it back for the Let's Plays because I kind of want it to be a classic style thing anyway. So yeah, so Let's Plays moving forward are gonna be, hello folks, this is OdinSpack33. That's what I want to share with you guys about that. Let's Plays in general, they'll be classic style, so no webcam. There'll be a shorter time span. I'm going to aim for 20 minutes or less on videos, possibly 15, just so that it kind of, I know they used to be like 11 minutes long, but I think we can go a little bit further. I think 11 minutes back in the day was just a little too short, but I don't want to overwhelm anybody with like content where like they're watching a whole bunch of other creators already. It was a different time then. So I'll probably be aiming somewhere between a 15-20 minute length video, mostly classic stuff. And I'm going to try to stick to games that I know fairly well, as opposed to doing first playthroughs. First playthrough is going to be more so reserved for the streaming, unless I think it's appropriate for a project to do. Like when I did Doki Doki Literature Club, that was good for a series on YouTube. So like stuff like that where it makes sense to record maybe your reaction to something, but you don't necessarily want the feedback from your audience live. So like really niche for sure. But that's what the kind of stuff I would stick to. I don't know if I'm gonna be doing anything like Doki Doki again. But that was a fun time. I really did enjoy that. I feel like I got some comments saying that like I didn't go over it enough or I wasn't enjoying it or something, but I really did. So maybe I didn't give them the reactions they wanted. Who knows? Maybe a webcam would have been appropriate for that one. But anyway. So yeah, that's Let's Plays. Also, a couple of years ago, I was doing Let's Replays. So that's just kind of revisiting some of my older content that I feel hasn't aged very well, or I feel I could do better with a fresh perspective, or cover in better detail than I did the first attempt. And it's not necessarily to replace those projects, but just more of a modern take on them. So there's definitely some other older projects that I want to redo. Not to get rid of those old ones, but really just because, like, hey, I'm a lot older now. I know how this works. I know what I'm doing now. So like that's kind of what Rad Gravity was last year when I did that. Like, because like that went from like, hey, I'm kind of familiar with Rad Gravity, that like when I played that, like to now like it's like one of my favorite games of all time. Like it's a little different, the difference 14 years makes. I'll be 15 now. But I'm just saying, like that's kind of the vibe I'm going for. It's just like a modern spin on some of those older projects. And then lastly, something I've been wanting to do for a long time is a big rebrand to Odin's Collection. So back in the day, the very first year I did Let's Plays, I did Odin's Collection, where I took a game I owned and I played it for 10 minutes because you can only play for 10 minutes at a time. We're technically 11. And that's I talked about it a little bit, and that was kind of it. But I kind of want to go more into a deep dive of history of like how I obtained the game, because I'm a big game collector, and when I started making Odin's Collection, a lot of it was like, hey, I just bought this game. You know what I mean? Not really exciting, not really a cool story. But now that's been like 15 years later, or 14 years later, I guess technically from then, it's a little different. It's been a long time. So I can kind of talk about some of that older stuff that I got, and really go into detail, and not necessarily just like one game. Like I might talk about like a series of games, like like the Mario series, or maybe a series that you don't even know I'm into, because I never really showed it off, and I want to show it off on there, and talk about how game collecting has changed for me. Just I love the hobby. I love showing off stuff. It's not like a flex, not a humble flex or anything like that. I just think that stuff is really cool, and it's always appealed to me. And it's a little different than something that I've like done before. So it still relates to video games, but in the aspect that I want. I can't really do this right now anyway, because I don't have like my collection like right here or anything. It's all like in boxes. So once all that's set up, it looks really nice. Have a nice little streaming setup, nice little recording setup. Then that's like one of the things I'm really looking forward to doing again. So you can expect that. So that is all the content. That is that's everything. That's a lot of stuff to take in. I'm really excited to eventually get to all of this. I know it sounds like a lot more than what seems like it would be normal for one person to do. Like maybe it feels like I'm spreading myself kind of thin or something like that. But it's all kind of just built around just playing video games, and it's not like it's not like one week is going to have like one edition of everything in it. You know what I mean? Like there might be some times where it's like, oh hey, I'm doing this thing and I'm not currently doing this thing. You know, it's going to be a lot of rotation of different projects and stuff like that. Like, hey, I might do a let's play, then I might do a let's replay, then I might do an Odin's collection. You know, like when it comes to videos, like it's gonna vary. You know, so and I'm gonna make sure that I just don't overwhelm myself. I look back in the past, and even like even in like the first year, second year, I was always taking on like 2, 3 projects at a time, and I was just making it way too difficult for myself. Tales of the Abyss took what 4 or 5 years to upload and record, and I never did Tales of Symphonia because I was like, man, that took so long. Tales of Symphonia, that's never gonna happen. You know what I mean? So like, I just have to make sure that uh, I'm just kind of staying on top of things and making sure that I'm not just spreading my content so thin. Um, you know, I want to make you, you know, whatever's working, whatever you guys are enjoying, I want to make sure I'm sticking to that. You know, if something's not clicking for you guys, you're not liking it, maybe I'm not liking it, you know, we'll move on. You know, we can dump stuff. We don't need to do all this stuff necessarily, but I want to try all of it for sure. That's what I want to do. I want to at least give all this a shot. You know, see, throw darts at the board, see what sticks. That's what I want to do. So that's a lot, I know, but it's this, like I said, I didn't type this up overnight. You know what I mean? I've been working on this for months, almost a year for some of it. Um, you know, just thinking about what I was gonna do with content moving forward. You know, when I graduated high school, you know, I started doing this like not that long after. Um, I didn't know it was gonna lead to today. You know, it was just a uh, fun little hobby I was doing, playing some video games for people online, and it's kind of turned into a lot more than that. Um, so I want to keep it that way. I want it to be that hobby still. You know, I want it to have that feeling still. You know, that's not going away because that's how it's always felt to me for sure. Now that being said, this is a great segue into the next section. You know, times have changed. I'm an adult, and so we gotta talk about some monetizing stuff real quick um, because you know it's part of the name of the game. I think you know, like that's kind of what keeps you going. Sometimes you need that little bit of incentive to keep you going. Um, that being said, I don't know when I will necessarily stop doing this ever. Eventually, um, but you know, this will probably help gauge what sticks around and what doesn't necessarily. Versus, and also like what I'm enjoying doing too. But I just want to talk about some stuff on this real quick before we kind of, you know, you guys can ask me some questions about if you guys have any questions on anything. If you have just any general questions at all, you want to ask me about something, maybe you can even ask me like, hey, you know, what do you think of this series? Or like, hey, would you ever do this game or something? You know, let me know. I'll be honest. You know, I'll let you know. But anyway, so monetization. So I want to talk about my classic content first. So as of right now, nothing's monetized. I disabled all that when I moved here. Um, so that was all removed. If you see ads on something, it's out of my control right now. Like if you go to something and there's an ad on it right now, not even this stream has an ad on it. I purposely like nothing currently should have an ad on it right now. Nothing like not even this stream is monetized. I didn't want this one to be because I was like if I want someone to come in here for my first stream, you know, I don't want them to watch an ad at the beginning. Like I think that's kind of silly. You know, I want to tell you what I'm doing. So I feel like that would have been kind of a little weird to do. So nothing currently is monetized right now, but it will start to be monetized. But what I'm intending to do when I turn on monetization for stuff, what I feel is mostly like my classic content, I'm not going to enable monetization for that. I don't know like where that's going to be in my list of projects. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what the cutoff project's going to be for that. what I've chosen to be my classic content, probably in lines of what I'm going to do with OdinSpack33 Classic, that stream series. Probably be around something like that. But probably the first couple of years of projects won't have ads on them. And that's just kind of to keep in line with what I was doing back then. I wasn't making money on this. This was just for fun, for a hobby. And, you know, my gift to you is you don't need to use ad block on my old stuff. Because, like, you know, if you honestly go back and watch some of that old stuff and you enjoy it, I want you just to enjoy it how it used to be. You know what I mean? I don't want you have to watch some ad for something from 2023 and then watch a video from 2009. You know what I mean? I don't want that. So I don't know where that cutoff is going to be for those projects. I haven't decided. But as of right now, nothing has monetization on it. And quite a bit of it will still not have monetization because I have to go out of my way to turn it on too. So, because I could just turn it on everything, but I don't want to do that. I do not want to do that. I kind of want to choose what's monetized and what isn't. I just think that's appropriate to do. So that's to do with ads mostly. We'll talk about ads a little bit. So something I do want to talk about that was definitely a mainstay of Twitch, something that is a mainstay of Twitch, and something that's a little different on YouTube is channel memberships and emotes. So this is, if you're from Twitch, this is like Twitch subscriptions, basically. A membership is a subscription, just different terminology. But I do plan to roll out memberships and emotes once I figure out how they function and what I want to do with them and how I want to price them, which I think is a really cool thing that you can do on YouTube is you can choose the tiers and like you can make I don't know how many you can make, but you can make a few and you choose how much they cost. And I think that is just way cooler in addition to, you know, getting a better cut too. But I do think it's really cool that you can choose what they are. Maybe I'll make it 333. I don't know, but you know, it's just a little dumb joke, but I don't know, but I want to make sure you get some value out of that. I don't want to just enable you know, memberships and just be like, hey, you know, do that and just to support my content. You know, I want to make sure it's more than just supporting my content. I know some people do that just to be like, hey, I enjoy this creator. You know, I want you to have some, you know, some money every month because I enjoy what you do and I want you to keep doing it. But I need to make sure that I can deliver on this content before I start doing all that stuff. So I want to make sure, you know, the Adventures of OdinSpack gets rolling, Kirby gets rolling, before I start enabling memberships and emotes. And I guess Super Chat too, although I might turn that on first, just because that's more of kind of like a donation thing versus like a membership thing. So I might turn, I haven't really thought about how that's going to work, but Super Chat is like, it's basically like Twitch bits. That's probably the closest thing to that. So it's like the same thing. So I know it's technically not, but it might as well be the same thing. All right, so that's kind of my stance on that right now. I kind of want to figure out what I'm doing on here first. So next is ads. Just I know I just talked about ads, but we're going to talk about it a little bit. So they suck. I know ads suck. But for streams, I'm only gonna get them to run when you join a stream. On Twitch, they can just happen at any point during a stream unless you run them. On here, you can choose when they show up. And like there's a checkbox to be like, do you want them to be in the middle of the stream? So I'm going to have that unchecked. So that should not happen. You should not get them in the middle of a stream because I think ads in the middle of a stream is really dumb because like the content still runs. You know what I mean? Like the content's still going while you're watching a commercial. I think that's stupid. For a video, it's different. You know what I mean? A video will stop, you will watch an ad, and then it will resume. A stream doesn't stop. So I'm not going to have any mid-rolls on streams. I think that's just really stupid. I don't like that. I don't like when that happens. I don't want you to have to, you know, get a channel membership to disable that or something like that. I don't know if that's even an option on here. I have no idea how memberships work. So for recorded videos, you know, it'll just depend if I feel that's appropriate, really. You know, if I feel like it's a appropriate to have a mid-roll ad on the video. If I have like sponsored content on a video, probably won't have a mid-roll because I'll have a sponsored thing instead. But speaking of, last but not least, I'll be open to doing sponsored content in the future. Mostly like a product placement thing, and only things that like I would actually use too. I don't want to like make like content about like maybe like a game or something. I just feel like that stuff's kind of weird, especially if it's not relevant to whatever's going on. But if it's like a product that's kind of like not competing with the content that's in the video, then that's fine. You could definitely see that in a stream, possibly, maybe at the beginning, maybe in the middle of it. A video, it would have to depend on if it's appropriate for it. You won't see it in a Let's Play. You won't see it. You won't see sponsored content in a Let's Play. That, like I said, that's gonna stay like classic style. But it could be on like a collection video. You know, like that could happen. Like they'd be like, this was sponsored by this. You know what I mean? Like that could happen. So, but yeah. So that's kind of how I'm planning on monetizing things. So I want to be open with you guys. You know, it would be cool to make a little bit off of doing this. Don't get me wrong. But I'm not about to exactly start, you know, making you guys have to watch a bunch of ads and stuff like that. You know, like I said, just preferably, you know, at the start of a video and at the end of a video, or at the start of a stream, at the end of a stream. I don't know if it even works like that at the end of a stream. But, you know, I think that's more appropriate, especially not in the middle of one for sure. I think that's really dumb. And I'm not going to start doing channel membership stuff until I understand it more. So you won't see that this first week or the second week. I mean, I might see it second week if I figured it out by then, but probably not this first week. So, but yeah, that's it, guys. That's everything. I've kind of gone into detail about everything I've got figured out so far. That it's a lot. I've only been talking an hour, so you know that's not too bad. That's not too bad. That didn't go crazy. I got over everything. I showed you guys my new art and stuff like that. Told you what I'm gonna be playing. You know, went over the shows, went over the events. You know, over the different stuff I want to start recording. Talked about some monetization stuff. You know, it's been a good time. Been an absolute good time. I'm not seeing any questions or anything. I hope the chat's still working, or maybe just people have left. Maybe at this point, I don't know. I don't know. But this has been it's been a good time. Absolutely, I've really had a blast kind of showing this stuff off with you. I'm really excited to start Kirby in the Forgotten Land. Like I said, like I could have done that today, but like, did I really want to talk about this for an hour and then like, you know, not give the focus to Kirby like right away? I felt like that just wouldn't have been appropriate. You know, I really want to give Kirby like the heads up. You know what I mean? Like I want to give it the focal point of the stream. I don't want to take away from it. So I want to make sure like that's getting, you know, its time that it deserves. Because I'm really excited to play that game, absolutely. So when I start doing my streams in the future for the Adventures of OdinSpack, it's going to be formatted like this. You're going to see the starting soon screen. We're going to have a little intro play. We're going to have this. We're going to talk for a little bit. We're not going to talk for too long, like not an hour. You know, we'll talk for a minute or two, and then we'll get right into the game. Okay, so... you know, if I have anything to talk about, obviously, you know, I'll talk about it, but it's still going to be laid back like it was on Twitch. But I want to make sure that, you know, you guys are getting, you know, all that you want out of the videos. You'll be able to watch them back, of course. I will try my best to highlight chapters in the stream too, because I imagine you can do that because YouTube videos, you can make chapters where they appear. So like, if there's like, you know, like, I'll make a chapter that's like, this is when Kirby starts. You know what I mean? Like I'll make a chapter for that. So that if you want to skip past me talking in the beginning, totally understand. You know, I get it. You know, and if I take a break during the stream and I have a BRB, I'll make sure that I chapter that out too, so that you'll know when to skip forward in the VOD. I'm not planning on editing any of the live stream VODs, like these live streams. I'm not planning on editing any of them down into smaller, manageable chunks. I think that would just add too much to do. So I'm going to be sticking to, like, the good thing is you will be able to rewatch any of the live streams. And at your own pace, because they will just automatically be on YouTube. So that's the great thing about this. I don't have to upload anything from Twitch. I'm not gonna get rid of this stream. This is the first one. We can't get rid of it. Even if I look back at it in a year and I'm like, wow, this is really dumb. Why'd I say all this stuff? Even then, I'll still leave this up. Because this is the kickoff. This is a new era. I'm very excited. I love stats. So I'm excited to start tracking all of the new stats for everything. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And I don't even mean just channel analytics. I mean, just how many videos did this project take? How long was it? That kind of stuff. Like, I'm excited to do stats. So the last thing is, do I show you the new layout for Kirby, even though I don't have my capture card on or anything like that? I could show you, and I could show you the new graphic I made for it, which would be exciting. Do I show you guys? Does anyone want to see? Should I wait? Should I wait until until the Kirby stream before I show you the layout and the graphic that I made for Kirby, or should I just tease you now and show you now? Just give you a little sneak peek. I'm honestly, I'm really excited to show it off. I really am, because I'm pretty proud of it, because I'm not really great with art, so I'm pretty proud of what I did. It fits the 8-bit theme very well, absolutely. So again, I don't know how long of a delay there is. I'm not seeing any responses, so it's like I don't know if anyone's just like, whatever, I don't care. I'm not seeing any responses to it, so you know what? Maybe I'll just save it. Maybe these guys will just have to wait. It's like I said, the layout itself is nothing crazy. It still has this space background, but the graphic is cool. Oh dang! Sounds like you got back for a sneak peek. Oh well, I guess if King Kienzin says we gotta get that sneak peek, then all right. Well, hey, one is all I needed. I just needed somebody to say something. All right, as per King Kienzin's request, we'll throw it up on screen for a quick second here. So this will be the HDMI like widescreen game layout. So there we go. There's the layout for when we're playing games. I don't have a game on screen right now. I guess I could highlight this out there, and I have a little, in case something goes wrong, I have a picture for it there. But also, this is actually pretty good because you can see the comparison to the box art kind of to the drawing that I made. So I took the Kirby Adventure sprite and kind of modified it a little bit, and then I also took the Mario Paint car sprite and I modified that a little bit to be blue and stuff, but then I drew everything else. So yeah, I made that image. Yes, I made that side image there. Yes, I drew that. I didn't draw obviously I didn't draw the key art for Kirby, but yes, I did draw that below. Like I said, I didn't draw Kirby from scratch. I modified the Kirby Adventure sprite, and I modified that Mario Paint sprite because I just could not figure out a car. But I did everything else, and I think it turned out pretty well. I don't know how well it looks on smaller screens and stuff like that, but blown up it probably looks pretty decent. So if you look at the actual box art, I made the Switch logo, right? This is supposed to look like the box art for the game. But I thought that turned out pretty good. This is all down here is also where the alerts will be too, right? So I have some ideas on how that's gonna work for the alerts, but because I wasn't sure if I was gonna. At first, I didn't have a box down here. It was just this webcam and the game window. But I was like, I feel like it felt empty down there, right? So I started drawing um, something, and I was like, okay, that's true. I guess I could have used the car from Paint Roller. I guess there definitely is a car graphic in Kirby's Adventure, isn't there? Well, whatever. I used the Mario Paint one. All right, it's the first one that came to my mind. So I thought it turned out pretty cute. I drew some letters. I didn't have a lot of room to work with. Kirby took up about like 1/6 of the box art that I could notice from uh like from like the Switch case. It felt like he took up about 1/6 of it. So I kind of modeled everything around Kirby for that. But I'll probably go with these dimensions moving forward too. So I was happy that I was able to do this. You know what I mean? Like it didn't. I think it turned out well enough. I think it it gets the point across. You can clearly see what I tried to do. So I'm excited. I can't wait to play this game. I'm really I'm really like super stoked to play this. So um, but that, like I said, that'll probably be Tuesday at the earliest. It just depends on what I hear from tomorrow. I don't want to make it tomorrow. Like I want to make sure that like I schedule a stream and you guys see it on YouTube. That's what I want to happen. Like I want you guys to be able to see like, hey, upcoming stream, and I want to, make sure I'm putting out my community posts too, so that you guys know. Especially because I'm not gonna have like, I'm not gonna have days of the week where I'm streaming stuff as of right now. I have like a window of times I'm available, but I don't currently have like, hey, I'm doing this every Sunday or something like that. I don't have that yet. Um, so that's why I want to make sure that I'm not like, I won't be streaming like back to back days for that. I'll make sure that I like, hey, you'll know there's a scheduled stream coming up. So I don't want you to miss out on that. So I'm glad you guys like I said, I think I did a pretty decent job with the drawing. So I think it turned out pretty cute. But yeah, do you guys like the little fade out animation now too? It's like this like square one. It's kind of fun. Right? That was just a thing in OBS. I might do my own transition too. I found out how to do it. Um, but I'll have to make something. Like I had some ambitious ideas for it for sure. Some absolutely really ambitious ideas for it. So I don't know if I'm exactly gonna be going through with those. Um, but I'm excited nevertheless. It's gonna be a good time. But yeah, that's everything, guys. I want to say thanks for watching. Um, this new adventure. I don't know if I've been tweeting and stuff. I've been saying adventures a lot because like it's the Adventures of OdinSpack. I I was do the Adventures of OdinSpack was like all those shows and stuff I just mentioned. I had the names for those like immediately. The Adventures of OdinSpack, this like main show, I could not think of anything good for it. I was trying to think of things with my name, a little like, play on words. I almost named it. I was thinking like, oh, what if I just named it Year to Clear, right? I was like, I don't know. I didn't though. And I could not think of something good, and then I just kind of said it aloud. I kind of just thought about it, and I was like, you know what? That's pretty good. I was like, yeah, it's pretty on the nose that it's very clearly inspired from Rad Gravity, but it's not exactly a new concept. You know what I mean? It's not like there's nothing else that has the adventures of this. So I was like, yeah, that's it. That's the one. That works out perfectly. So I was pretty excited when I thought of the name, and I think it stands out. It's just got my username in there. You know what I mean? So you can't be confused as to like who's streaming or something like that. You know what I mean? Like if you're like, hey, I was watching Retrospack or something like that, but like the Adventures of OdinSpack is very clear on what it is. So I think that's good. Man, we did it. We got through this. I was so nervous at the beginning of the stream. I was like, I don't know how this is going to go at all. I know it'll go a lot differently when I start playing an actual video game. I'm sure like there'll probably be a larger audience or a different audience at least. And not I love you guys being here. That's not what I'm saying. But I know not necessarily everyone's going to sit around for an hour to talk about the future of my stuff, but I'm really excited for it, guys. So like, um, I really want to tell you, and I felt streaming was the best way. You know, like I said, I could have made an update video, for sure, but I thought it was just better to do this as a stream because that's what I'm gonna be doing. So why not give you the information as a stream, um, and then you know what's going on. So yeah, that's it. That's my mission plan. That's my game plan. Moving forward for OdinSpack. So that's it. Um, so what's weird now is now that I'm done, there's no way to like raid anybody. That's not a thing. Also, it's gotten really dark on my webcam here. So I'm gonna try to tune that up a little bit there. There's no way to well, there is a way, but you kind of have to do it like in advance. You have to like raid somebody in advance. And I don't exactly know how to do that, or like I don't know who's streaming right now, so I might have to start communicating with people on this, and maybe we can set up some raids in the future, or I think it's called like redirecting or something. I don't know. It has some other term, but I don't know what it is. I have I have no idea what it is at all. Yo, Mega, you're just here for the end of the stream. No good emotes? Oh my goodness. So, by the way, before we go, real quick. Oh, I can't. Oh, I have to chat in here. Okay, hold on. Before we go, oh my goodness. So, I've been posting this one in Slim's chat a bunch at his streams. He's been doing Animal Crossing. I love this one. I don't know why. I have no idea why. It's just absurd to me. Um, like this guy just downing this coffee. I don't know. It stuck out to me so much, and it is my currently my favorite YouTube emote. So, you know, if you see me ever posting that, that's because I like the emote. And I don't know if it ever has a purpose. Like, I don't know, maybe it's like, oh my god, I need that hot content. I don't know if that's like what do you react with that with? You know what I mean? Like, is that to get somebody to drink water? Like, I don't understand the practical use of this emote, but it is hilarious to me. So, so there you go. Yeah, I want to collaborate some raids. Absolutely. Yeah, let's figure that out. Let's figure it out. All right. Well, yeah, it's Kit in the box. Oh, that is cute, actually. Oh, that is really cute. It is Kit in the box. Oh, well, I like that one too. So yeah, I'm gonna figure out how channel memberships work and emotes, and we'll get some of the Twitch ones that I had over here. I probably won't have like all of the old ones that I have. Also, I don't even know if animated emotes are a thing on here. Like natively. So, you know, I won't have to worry about that right now. But because you probably with extensions and stuff that works, but you know, like stuff that works in memberships. But we'll figure that out. I'll definitely, you know, I'll have my old school Rad Gravity one. Absolutely, you know, we'll have that. But like I said, I don't really want to do membership stuff until I understand completely what I can offer with it. So it's the best value to you. I don't want you guys just give me money and like you don't get something decent out of it. You know, it's not gonna be like something crazy, obviously. But you know, I want to be able to deliver on something with it. So I want to see what options are available with it besides just emotes. You know, I want to make sure that you guys get some sort of value out of it. All right, thank you so much for watching. It's gonna take me forever to end streams. That has not changed. Well, thank you for being here, and I will be back. It'll either be Tuesday or Wednesday with Kirby. You should know by tomorrow because I should have this stream scheduled. I'll try to schedule it as far in advance as I know, and I won't schedule like more than one in advance so that like, you know, like it doesn't like overlap or something like that. I want to make sure that you guys know like what's going to be going on. So, but yeah, you also can use the emotes in YouTube comments. You can as well. I don't know exactly how they work across the platform. I know there was like YouTube Gaming, and that's like not a thing anymore, but the cross-platform emote thing still could be a thing. I also think you need to have like X amount of subscribers on a channel for that to happen too. So I'm like not really concerned about that right now. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I will see you, like I said, either Tuesday or Wednesday around 6 p.m. like last time, 6 p.m. Eastern time. And I'll probably stream around 2 to 3 hours. That's going to be the goal for the streams. So I didn't really talk about that. So whatever feels right. So have a good one. Farewell till we meet again. And goodbye.